So welcome back to another Ultra League video, guys. So buckle up everyone, because Charizard is going on a rampage against the Ultra League meta here. I had very fun battling with this team today. So we're gonna be pairing it with a Greedent and a Virizion. So Greedent on the lead in the first match versus the Cursalia, a very positive matchup because of the crunch damage which is gonna output against the Cursalia here. So Crunch having an ability to debuff our opponent's defense by one stage. We do not get it on the first trial. It's okay. So Cursalia is getting ahead to throw the Moonblast onto the Greedent, which is perfectly fine by me. And the Crunch is gonna land again, once again, hoping that we get some sort of debuff to apply some pressure on this Cursalia. But again, once again, we don't get the debuff here. And the Cursalia is about to throw another charge move onto the Greedent. This time it's a Grass Knot, but Greedent is also at the same time very tanky like a Cursalia, I would say. But Cursalia, you know, right, the ability, it's one of the best save swaps in the Ultra League and even as a lead. And I don't think it's much good Pokemon as a closer, but in the lead and as a save swap, it is a wonderful Pokemon to have in your roster. So Greedent again, once again here, we needed to give up a shield in order to stop the Moonblast, and now we're gonna take out this Cursalia because they also decided to shield the Crunch from the Greedent. So now there's an Obstagoon which decides to come in against the Greedent, and now it's gonna get a good healthy farm down with the Greedent. But in the back we do have Virizion, because for these kind of situations Greedent is weak to fighting type Pokemons, which Charizard and Virizion covers it in most of the situations. So Virizion goes ahead and throws the Sacred Sword, which gets shielded. The Obstagoon goes for a Night Slash and it got the boost, but that's not something which is threatening against my team, because we're gonna be taking the Obstagoon down in this situation. And in the back there's a Venusaur. We come in with the Charizard and we just checkmate it. So that's the gameplay here. But my opponent decided to go for the Sludge Bomb, but no, that's not gonna be enough. Even though if we did not had shields there, I think we could have won that, because Sludge Bomb will not one-shot me. So that's a good game. My opponent denied the boom from me. That was very, I was very hurt after seeing that, but it's fine. So second match, we have Poliwrath on the lead versus Greedent. This is not the ideal matchup, but here this Poliwrath is running Mudshot. So if it's a counter variant, they might have Ice Punch and Scald, but if it's a Mudshot variant, they have Dynamic Punch. And this is really not good for me, because it is doing so much super effective damage on my Greedent, and my Greedent is able to hang on with a good amount of HP. And now I went to catch the Dynamic Punch, but instead we got an Ice Punch, which is devastating. And now we got hard locked with the Charizard. I was like, oh my god, what I'm doing here. I got my Greedent so low on energy, and it is so low on health as well at the same time. I swapped into the Virizion, tried to catch the charge move of Dynamic Punch. Instead, I got hit with an Ice Punch, and now the Charizard checkmates me with, and that too, it's a Fire Spin variant Charizard. So now I need to make a very tough decision here. So should I come in with the Greedent or the Charizard? I came in with the Greedent and I throw the Crunch instantly, hoping to get a debuff from my opponent, but my opponent just decides to let it go. And this is one more mistake I did. I wanted to catch the charge move on the Greedent, but instead I just became a little greedy and I went to the Charizard instead to get the farm down. So buckle up everyone, because this is where it's about to get spicy here. So we're gonna be committing to the farm down of the Charizard. We get the farm down, beautiful. And now the Poliwrath comes back in once again. Remember, this is a Mudshot Poliwrath, so the fast moves is not going to do any type of damage to our Charizard because of the flying typing. And now I'm gonna commit to the farm down, but not before this Poliwrath get to another Ice Punch in time. And now we are down shields, but we have an energy on the Charizard, and energy on the Charizard is so lethal when it comes to the Ultra League. There is no Pokemon, I guess, which can survive for too long if it's met with a Charizard with 100 energy. So we get both the shields. So here I'm likely to catch the charge move. Yes, we do catch the charge move, whether it's a Moonblast or a Grass Knot. No, it's a Future Sight. I'm like, oh my god, now Future Sight has the ability to knock out my Charizard, but we get to the Blast Burn in time instantly. Can the Blast Burn knock out the Cursalia? No, the Cursalia hangs on. Can we wing attack it down? Yes, we can. Charizard just took their whole team by surprise. What a battle was that. Oh my goodness, Charizard. That's the reason why you're my favorite, my guy. So Greedent comes back in once again against the Shadow Swampert. So Shadow Swampert has a raw damage output with the Hydro Cannon. Most probably Shadow Swamperts run with Sludge Wave and Hydro Cannon. Normal Swamperts run with Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. And Earthquake also getting a little bit of nerf this season. 120 was the normal attack output of the Earthquake, but now I think it's doing 110. But that doesn't make the Swampert anywhere down the meta. It's still a really good meta Pokemon. So I here decide to cast the charge move on the Virizion, or yeah, I try to come in with the Virizion and try to farm down, but I thought no, they have built up to the Sludge Wave and I'll respect it, and we do give up a shield, and it was really good from the back end. So now there's a Cresselia which decides to come in, and I go instantly into the Charizard. Now I'm not gonna mess around this Cresselia here, because Cresselia can do very well against my Virizion with the Moonblast. But here they undercharge the Moonblast. I don't know why. I think they have some lag, I believe, because that Moonblast should have done a little bit more, even though it is not very effective. They swap into the Obstagoon, and I think they are stuck somewhere. I think they have a serious lag. I wait for some time, but still they haven't come back yet. They come back once again, but they know it's game over because my Charizard is almost at a 100 energy and it's about to boom their team, so they instantly surrender. Hopping into the next battle, we have Greedent on the lead versus Kingdra. Okay, so once again, Kingdra is one of those Pokemons which you want to have in your roster, but it's not as good in the open Ultra League, but in some open, like say Ultra League Premier Cup, where the legendaries are banned. So Kingdra is somewhere where it shines there. It's a really good safe swap as well, but not in the open Ultra League. I have not seen much in the open Ultra League, but in Ultra League Premier Cup, it's one of the best Pokemon to have in your roster. So now we're gonna be spamming some body slams onto this Kingdra and making it relatively low, because they went for the Octazooka there. I think they do not have Outrage, and there's a Tentacruel in the back. Okay, this is okay, Tentacruel can do well against my Charizard as well as the Virizion, so I need to play it little bit like you know, the gameplay should be proper here, because I don't want to mess around with this Tentacruel, or else it can easily sweep my team with the moveset of Poison Jab, Acid Spray and Scald. So I go ahead and respect the Scald here, but unfortunately I got baited with the Acid Spray. The worst thing what you get is getting baited with Acid Spray. Now I go ahead and shield. It's a Scald, so we stop the Scald, but my only hope here is I don't want this Tentacruel to throw another Scald at me. So that's the reason I went for the Dragon Claw bait, but they call it perfectly as a bait, and I'm in a very tough situation now, because this Tentacruel is around a Scald once again, and it hangs on with a HP and a Dream, and I was thinking that it might be a Scald, but no, it's an Acid Spray eventually. So my Charizard hangs on somehow, but in the back there's an Alolan Ninetales, the Charm Alolan Ninetales in the back, and I'm gonna be shooting off the Sacred Sword instantly, because I'm not gonna mess around this opportunity. But they, instead of farming down, they throw the energy of Weather Ball, which is absolutely, this was their loose con, I would say, because if they had farmed me down, I wouldn't have got to the Blast Burn. They could have Weather Balled me down. But now this Blast Burn is about to land on this Ninetales. It booms it out of the ground. Charizard once again takes the game. Beautiful to see it. Okay, Greedent once again. Next battle, Greedent on the lead versus the Virizion. Okay, this is not an ideal matchup. I come into the Mia fight. I could have come in with the Charizard, but I thought if they are running a Virizion, they might be having backup to the Charizard in the back, obviously. Usually, Virizions are paired with Swamperts in the back. So I'm playing to that. So I'm going for the Sacred Sword here. So, and my opponent decides to shield. I'm like, it's a very strange situation where they give up a shield there, so I thought they might be weak to Virizion in the back. So what I decide to do here is, okay, I'll also give up 2 shields. I don't want the switch like from my opponent. All I want is to soft lose this matchup and come up with some energy is my only gameplay. And I'll try to catch a charge move on Charizard or the Greedent here. it's okay. Even though it's a Sacred Sword, Gradient is very much bulky. It can easily tank. So now I'll come in with the Charizard, and in the back there's a Swampert, as I told you. So that's what the gameplay is. So now we're gonna be landing the Blast Burn here. Even it is resisted, it does a good amount of damage. That's the power of the Charizard. You cannot underestimate a Charizard in the Ultra League. Even though it's a Swampert. Swampert throws the Hydro Cannon, but Swampert now realizes it's not enough to farm me down because I get to another Blast Burn. So they pull the trigger and they throw another Hydro Cannon off to get rid of my Charizard. Now I have a decision to make. Do I come in with a Virizion? I'll come in with a Gradient. I come in with a Gradient, and I'll tank an Hydro Cannon here. So I'll build up to 2 Body Slams, because even though if the Virizion comes, I will be able to likely throw at it because it's relatively low, where it is a 1 Body Slam can easily knock out the Virizion in the situation. So Body Slam landing on the Swampert, Virizion comes back in, but they go for an extra fast move. I don't mess around, I instantly go for the Body Slam, Virizion goes down, and in the back there is a Steelix. Okay, Shadow Steelix, it's a Pokemon to fear about. Now we go instantly to the Sacred Sword because I don't want to get hit with a Breaking Swipe and then the Sacred Sword does less damage. That's not the case here. So now I'm gonna be easily coming with a Gradient, and Gradient has a little bit of really good health remaining. So Steelix, once again, it's not able to get to the Breaking Swipe before I launch the Crunch onto the Steelix. Crunch does a really good neutral damage in this situation. Breaking Swipe, is it enough to knock out my Gradient? No, the Squirrel hangs on, and it gets to another Crunch in time, sealing me the match. It was an overall team play in order to get this win here. Gradient being absolutely bulky, winning it with a quite 2 or 3 HP and a Dream, which was absolutely beautiful to see. So a really fun set of battles here. I highly recommend you to try this team. You're gonna get some really nice wins, but it's about how you manage those energy. Reminding you, energy is the name of the game here. So Swampert on the lead once again against the Gradient. So you know how it goes. Like, we try to soft lose this matchup or soften the Swampert up, where I'll come in with my Virizion and load up on energy, because if I come in with a Charizard, I would be likely giving up a shield here. But sometimes what I like to do is try to catch a charge move on the Virizion, where the Hydro Cannon is completely resisted. So the Swampert is throwing back-to-back Hydro Cannons here. So even we'll also throw back-to-back Body Slams after building up to it. So the first Body Slam is coming through to the Swampert here. It does a good chunk of damage, right? It does a really good chunk of neutral damage. And Gradient with a new fast move of Mud Shot, it can get to those Body Slams and Crunch absolutely fast. 4 for the Body Slam, 5 for the Crunch. They swap into the Venusaur. I'll go for the Crunch and hoping for a debuff here from my opponent. Will we get it? Yes, we do get it, which is absolutely good. So I'll come in with my Charizard here and commit to the farm down. But this Venusaur, I come in a little bit late, I believe. So this Venusaur might be able to get to another Sludge Bomb in time, which I risk it. So that's the reason why I wanted to fire off this Dragon Claw, so that I will stop or get a final shield from my opponent, which is absolutely good. And now I'm in a situation where I will not give up a shield, because however it will not KO my Charizard. It is still in a very good health range where I can get a Blast Burn off. Swampert decides to come in, but it loses the CMP tie against the Charizard, and Charizard is gonna take out the Swampert. Boom, it goes down. In the back there's a Shadow, Alolan Ninetales once again, and we're gonna be booming it down to the earth here. Boom! One shots the Alolan Ninetales. Beautiful to see. Charizard once again closing me that game. It took the Venusaur, took the Swampert, took the Alolan Ninetales. That is an absolute sight to see. In the next battle, we are Gradient against the Talonflame. Talonflame can do really well against my team here because of the moveset of Flame Charge and Brave Bird. It can do really well against my Virizion, against my Charizard. If it's this bird can easily get out of control, let me tell you that. So always try to not shield the first charge move, because most of the players go for a Flame Charge, because that is somewhere you need to shield later, because the first Flame Charge will get the offense by 1 stage. So they will have an higher offense, and then the Flame Charge will do more damage. So that's the reason why I do not shield the first move. So I go here and I wanted to catch the Flame Charge. Will we get it? Okay, we do get the Flame Charge. So I'm gonna try to commit to the farm down here, but I just pulled my trigger early because I don't want this Talonflame to get out of hand and take my whole team down. So we took down the Talonflame there. Abomasnow tries to swap in. So okay, it is ready to throw the weather ball here. I decide to shield here, but they make a beautiful swap into the Scrafty to catch the charge move. Okay, that was beautiful. Because I wanted the Blast Burn to land on the Abomasnow, but instead we got a Scrafty and we are switch locked. We are switch locked with the Charizard here. So remember, whenever you try to swap the Pokemon, you're switch locked there for 60 seconds. And after that, only you're able to make a swap, or if your Pokemon goes down after the switch. So here they go for the power up punch, and they also go down. The Scrafty just goes down to the wing attack, but I realized that I couldn't make it to the Blast Burn, so I pulled my trigger to the Dragon Claw, and eventually my Charizard goes down. So Virizion here will be able to wrap me this game up because of one shield advantage, as well as the Sacred Sword doing super effective damage because of the ice typing there on the Abomasnow. So a really good battle, but I really wanted the Charizard to get to the Blast Burn against the Abomasnow, so I wanted to boom it once again, but it's fine. Now we're gonna be hopping into the next one. We have Greedent on the lead versus Haxorus. So Haxorus, it's a very bad Pokemon to start because of counter and breaking swipe, but at the same time here I needed to give shields on the Charizard as well, because breaking swipe is such a good nuke charge move. Like, it gets the debuff, it also does a really good damage output. So Haxorus once again going for the breaking swipe. I'll decide to double shield here, and the breaking swipe comes through once again. So Dragon Claw is gonna do a really good super effective damage even after 2 breaking swipes. Look at the amount of damage it does. Absolutely beautiful. In the back there's a Delphox. It is okay, I never seen this one before. Never seen a Delphox in the Open Ultra League, but it's a very spicy Pokemon that you can try. I think it has access to Psychic, Mystical Fire, and also it got Blast Burn, right? Delphox had a community day this I think in this year, April or May, I don't know properly, but it got the access to Blast Burn. So it is something which I don't want to like mess around with any Pokemon here. I just want to be up to my game, so taking the advantage from my opponent. So the Haxorus comes again. So here we get to the Body Slam in time before the Haxorus could get to a breaking swipe, and now they're forced to shield, which they shield, and now it is opening the doorway for my Charizard to sweep once again. So I'm gonna come in with the Virizion, and the Haxorus is decided to throw the breaking swipe. Why I decided to come in with the Virizion is because I can clear my debuffs instantly with the Charizard after swapping it out. So Virizion will have the energy, and in the back there's a Cursalia. Okay, so this Cursalia is an absolute troublesome for my team, but with the help of the Charizard, I believe we could be able to take it down. Blast Burn, the first Blast Burn lands, and what does this Cursalia have is my only question now. It has Moonblast. Okay, we survive, but I don't think we can make it to another. Oh my god, we did not make it to another move, and now this Virizion is now going to down the Moonblast here, because there is nothing more I could do, because they got a healthy farm down from my Charizard, and my Charizard was not able to throw a Dragon Claw. If we had thrown the Dragon Claw there, I could have won, but hopefully it was a really nice game. It's fine. We'll also have losses when we go up the rankings, right? So we have Greninja on the lead versus the Greedent here. So Greninja being one of those very like, it's the biggest meta now, right? Because the ability of it to get to the charge moves instantly. I've been telling in each of my videos, Greninja is a Pokemon to fear of, because it can destroy teams. It's an absolute nightmare. So we get to the Body Slams in time. Hopefully for me, Greedent is very tanky, so it can tank 2 Hydro Cannons from the Greninja here. So now this addition to make. Do I have to say my Greedent or not? Okay, I decide to let it go, but it still hangs on. My Greedent hangs on and gets to another Body Slam in time, but they make a beautiful swap into the Escavalier here. So now Escavalier is in a very tough pitch situation, because I'll come in with my Charizard, and the gameplay in this mid-game matchup is for me to come in with a lot of energy against the Greninja or whatever's in the back, but this Escavalier is running Aerial Ace, and Aerial Ace is a move which can get to very quickly for the Escavalier, and I don't mess around, simply go away for the Blast Burn. Greninja decides to throw. I'm gonna go ahead and shield and respect the amount of damage the Hydro Cannon does, and I'm gonna instantly throw the Dragon Claw here in this situation. Does the Greninja Has another charge move ready to go. Oh, we lose the CMP tie here. Okay, Greninja wins the CMP tie against the Charizard, so we're going to be going down for the Night Slash, but Virizion can get a really healthy farm down, but Greninja still decides to throw another energy against my Virizion. Night Slash, not effective. So in the back, there's a Giratina Altered. It was a really tough game because Giratina Altered is a Pokemon which does really well against a Virizion. But in this situation, if I had Stone Edge on the Virizion, I guess it would have been more like an even matchup, because Stone is just neutral damage. I wanted to catch a charge move on the Greedent, but my Greedent just goes down instantly because it had such a low health. And Virizion now is just gonna go or shred it down from the Giratina Altered here. Leaf Blades are just not doing enough to take it down, and Giratina Altered is such a bulky Pokemon. Like, see, we hit 3 Leaf Blades and still it is hanging around somewhere around 40% of the health, and even this Leaf Blade is not even enough to get the Giratina Altered into the reds, I believe. So it was a really good game from my opponent. Giratina Altered is just a very hard answer for a Virizion. It's like a checkmate situation. Virizion still hangs on but goes down to the Shadow Claw. So that was a really good games we had in this session, but it was an instant Charizard once again. It's a really good Pokemon. Just try it out. Do like to subscribe, share, and like the video, and I'll see you in the next video.